What's up, squad? This is Brandon from the Bantu Sun. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today is a very special day for me, and the reason why is because I have passed my 500 subscriber mark. So, yay, yay! I'm not the biggest hoorah guy, but this is a very important milestone for me. It was something that I really wanted to get accomplished. I did a lot of playing around initially, as far as experimenting, throwing things out, and then I said, okay, if it can be measured, it can be improved. And I really went for a hard drive to hit the 500 mark, probably about 100 subscribers ago, and it worked because I learned a lot. I learned a lot about me, and I learned a lot about you guys and what you like that I produce, the type of people that are attracted to me and my content. So I hope you enjoyed the journey because above all, as I said, I'm not the biggest hoorah guy. I wanted to get back to work, make more videos, but I really thought it was really important that I say thank you all because you are the ones that keep me consistent. You are the one that bring me to the media. I will be doing all this anyway, but I'll just be dancing in the dark, as I like to say. Um, I'm glad that I can bring it to you all and you can validate it. You can challenge it. I don't have all the answers, and I like that journey of learning the world, geopolitics, economic development, and how can I apply that in macro and in micro. So to have you guys partner with me, supported me in doing so. And I just want to make sure I continue to grow this channel to what you're looking for as well. I think this is a partnership, so to speak, as we grow and develop together, as you learn new things and I learn new things as well. So once again, thank you all so much, especially my early subscribers when I was just getting off the ground and you've been here the whole time. I couldn't have definitely done it without you guys. You guys have been the spine of the channel. I think you guys will always be the backbone of the channel. I think no matter where that channel goes, highs, lows, I think it's always going to be a core corp or a core group that's going to rock with you. My special forces, they're always going to rock with me. So I just want to say thank you guys. But for all my subscribers, really appreciate it. I just want to give you guys some insight. As I said, I've learned a lot. I've got a lot of content now over the time I've been doing this and seeing what you're really engaging with, what you're liking. So I'll give you just some tidbits on where the channel's going within the next 3 to 6 months. One of the things I'm working on is I'm doing a deep dive. I'm looking into it. I wasn't trying to be too much aligned with the AES. I just did a video on the alliance out of Central West Africa, the alliance of Sahel states. They're weird to me. They're backwards to me, but apparently they strike a lot of interest. So the three countries, Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger. I'm going to do a little deeper dive on those three leaders. Kind of compare and contrast because it's very easy to group them out. There is Captain Traore, he really is polarizing. I think it's because he just has that look. He's very marketable, and but it's real problems going on. These are real issues that's going on in this area, and so many people get caught up with the fantasy of it all, or the marketing aspect of it all, or this anti-Western thing. And I never really understand the anti-Western thing because, granted, yeah, the West is shady and corrupt, but as a person that lives in history, like trust me, they all are. Like the true enemy is the threat to the individual and the individual growth, and no civilization that I can reference have done more to empower the individual than Western civilization. I'm not grading on the absolute scale. I'm grading relative to peers. What kind of society do I think have the ability to take different people from different cultures, races, histories, and bring them together and give them an economic opportunity to succeed? I can't reference too many nations outside of the West that have done that. So, but there's this big anti-West thing. I don't know. Muslims were in Africa trading Africans for 1,000 years before uh, 1,000 years before the Europeans. But I rarely hear much criticism on the Islamic involvement, even though you can really trace a lot of the violence back to Islamic group or funding from that been bypassed through Islamic states. Not all, but some. But they're so anti-West, and at a certain point, is it is it is it justified or is it a form of envy or jealousy? I have no idea. Maybe it is justified to some, but it's just odd to me. But I want to do a deep dive on those three African leaders and basically put their geopolitical position in frame of the wider scope. At the end of the day, I came out with a video the other day and I talked about there's different African models. Some countries are doing very well silently. Like that's the ironic thing about it. The countries that do well in Africa, people don't really hear about. People don't really hear about Cote d'Ivoire growth story. But people can cite all day the ins and outs of what's going on in a fragmented Sudan. That narrative is completely flipped when you talk about Europe or Asia. Everybody knows the European success stories of Germany or the Asian success stories of China, but do you hear about the backward cases of Belarus? When the last time you heard news about Belarus, or poor performing European countries, or a country such as Myanmar, a poor performing Asian country. So it's really interesting. In Africa, poor performing countries are highlighted, and the success stories are actually drowned out. Another thing I was going to do is we're working on this noir thing. We're working on this New Orleans geopolitical case study. I'm doing research on that. It's such a phenomenal city, and I'm developing my SWOT analysis, and I expect that to be out soon enough. And once I get the SWOT analysis, I'm going to take that to the experts, and we'll start refining and defining things within this case studies, what's probable, possible, and plausible. But what you have with New Orleans is a great American city, a phenomenal American city, exceptional culture, exceptional history, and all that has been drowned out by apathy and degeneracy, basically. This city, from what I hear, is nothing but amazing things, but it has some really horrible human index metrics that is stifling its growth, but it's very balanced. It's geographically blessed in many ways and challenged in others. But those challenges create opportunities. But we're putting together a case study. Once I get that case study together, I want to wrap it up. And I do want to send it to Louisiana because I think it's just an amazing city that we're robbing ourselves as Americans, not fully utilizing. So I'm really passionate about that. So I'm looking forward to getting that. So be on the lookout for that SWOT analysis coming soon and the larger case studies coming out a little bit later. And then I'm also going to do an African American geopolitical history. I think it's much needed. One of the things that frustrate me is ignorance, because ignorance allows you to be manipulated easily. So, for instance, when I see Ghana advocate on behalf of reparations, and you kind of have this feckless Black caucus there, which is supposed to be, from my understanding, probably the highest level of Black interested group that we have in the United States, and they're supporting this because for some reason or another, reparations is a cool thing, but they're supporting this with a former major slave trader. I think Ghana appealing for on behalf of reparations, whether it's on behalf of itself, because they got a weird logic. I think because we Black, they Black. I don't know. I don't understand the mental gymnastics, but I do know they like to put their hand in the African American pocket. Um, but you have these Ghanaians that are major slave traders. It's like a guy robbing a bank. He robs a bank on his way out when he slips on the purse of one of the hostages, and then him and the hostage shoots the bank. Like it doesn't, like I don't know. It just doesn't. My brain just can't comprehend how is Ghana advocating on behalf of reparations. Either if you was to go that route, it would have to come from a coalition, I think, of African descendants within the Americas, one way or another, government institution or no government institution. It would have to be that, and it's not like Ghana sent over ships the biggest challenge to slavery and the greatest advocate to stopping slavery with the ability to do so was actually the British, which is quite ironic because a lot of American slavery is based on the British. And that's why I say you start getting these blame games. I understand it's politically expedient. I understand that somebody you need to scapegoat people in a democratic society because you got to drive people to the polls, but that don't mean that person has to be you. So I'm going to do a case study on that as well, just to highlight African American history in a geopolitical sense and talk about some of the challenges in our strengths. Like we rarely, never, ever, ever, most Black Americans know nothing, little to nothing about Liberia. This is a crime. This is an absolute crime. So these are all some things I'm previewing on the channel. Once again, just wanted to whet the appetite, get you guys ready. I want to keep it coming. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for engaging. Thank you so much for your consistent loyalty throughout this journey. And I'm looking forward to so much more, accomplishing so much more together. Thank you for joining me today. Comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on some of the things I previewed, and maybe there's some things that I haven't said that you think will be brilliant for the channel, or you would like to see. I'd like to hear that as well. Like, share, subscribe if you enjoy the content. And until next time, take care. Bantu up.